Bitcoin, the world's first cryptocurrency, a revolutionary asset, and a mystery. For more than 10 years, only one question remains unanswered. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto, its creator? HBO's new documentary, Money, Electric, the Bitcoin Mystery, promises to lift the veil on this enigma. But is it really the case? In today's video, we will dive together into this documentary, discuss the revelations surrounding Peter Todd, and especially analyze why knowing Satoshi's identity could shake up the global Bitcoin market. Stay until the end to discover why this information could be much more dangerous than we think. Because yes, there are many risks and dangers in knowing Satoshi's identity. That's why it has caused a lot of ink to flow in the last few days, and even before its release, the tension was more and more palpable day after day. Before the release of the documentary, theories were circulating everywhere on the internet. Many thought that Colin Hobback, the one leading the investigation creating this documentary, would designate Len Sassaman as Satoshi Nakamoto. I really like this theory. I'll explain to you at the end of this video why. My point of view is a little bit cruel, but you'll understand. Anyway, Polymarket was in turmoil. People were making all sorts of bets according to the different theories. But in the end, it was Peter Todd who was put forward as Satoshi in the documentary. And that was a surprise. Personally, I have bet neither on Peter nor on Len. I may tell you more on who I think would probably be more likely to be Satoshi a bit late. Anyway, it was a surprise, yeah. Even I must say, a bit of a disappointment, a big disappointment in fact. The evidence presented in the documentary is not as solid as I had hoped. In fact, some of the evidence even seems to have been modified to fit the narrative. So, is it really Peter Todd? Or is it just a good story made to capture the audience? Let's analyze that. The documentary, where it shines, it's in its storytelling. Colin Hobback takes us on an investigation around the world where he interviews key figures in the history of Bitcoin. Colin is very good at storytelling. He had already shown us that in the past with his documentary about QAnon, where he loses credibility in the analysis of the facts. Those who know a minimum of the history of Bitcoin will quickly realize it. In this documentary, storytelling quickly becomes more important than the truth. So the theory about Peter Todd is shaky. The evidence is adapted to fit the story, and the passages retained here are there to lead us to think, yeah, maybe he could be Satoshi. Well, I mean, sure, we can clearly see that Peter Todd is brilliant. He is undeniably intelligent, but is he really the one who invented Bitcoin? I don't think so. There are too many inconsistencies for my taste, and above all, we are just too far from a rigorous investigation. Instead of a detailed investigation, a lot of time in the film is devoted to telling this story, to telling the story of Bitcoin, to telling the story of the main actors, to telling the story of the dramas over the years that between the different participants and developers. So, not much time is left for the investigation and evidence. This is a big negative point, but it is at the same time the big positive point of this documentary, because it takes us back to the history of Bitcoin. Its greatest successes and its memorable crashes from Luna to FTX. Even some references to BitConnect are included. We also rediscover why Bitcoin remains the best option compared to other cryptocurrencies. So it's good for Bitcoin maxis. It reminds everyone everything I like about Bitcoin. Decentralization, freedom, the control we give back to people. I love it. It gives food for thought. There are also several passages with Roger, the famous Bitcoin Jesus. Roger there, I love him. He is a super polarizing guy, but who is, in my eyes, one of the biggest ambassadors of Bitcoin over the last 13 years. He has always given his all. Moreover, a mention is made of his recent arrest in Spain and of the growing pressure from Western countries to regain some kind of control over Bitcoin there too. So that was nice. And speaking of a polarizing guy, well, Peter Todd is also polarizing, and he has a strong personality too. Not exactly the same style as Roger, but he knows how to get noticed too. By the way, it was interesting to see what happened in the Memecoin market during this last week because of that. I've already talked about meme coins, how it's a great tool to follow the news and see where the attention of the crypto community is. And if before the documentary came out, the meme coins were mostly related to Len Sassaman, after the revelation in the documentary around Peter Todd, he took over in the meme coin market. And the best part is this meme coin. It's called Your Mother. It was created after Peter Todd answered Your Mother to the question of whether he had a pet on Twitter. You know, pets of famous people usually work pretty well in the meme coin market. So some people asked him, they wanted to know if he had a pet to create a meme coin in this same narrative. But he didn't really like this vision. And he told them, my pet is called Your Mother. And well, it's the meme coin market, you know? So people just took his word for it. They launched the token Your Mother. A token called Your Mother really existed. It's completely stupid and it skyrocketed, of course. The market cap went up to $6.5 million in only 8 hours. Total degen. Well, obviously it crashes 90% the second day, but that is the world of meme coins. Anyway, what's important in that is that Peter Todd's repartee, you know, and character, it tells us a lot. It's not very Satoshi-like. It dismisses this even more. And maybe it's better this way, because now let's get to what I think is a real problem. Do we really need to know the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto? And what would happen if we really found him? First, what would happen to the market? It would be a big problem. Satoshi still owns around 1 million Bitcoin. It's tens of billions of dollars. Imagine the influence he could have on the market if he decided to move them, or even just tweet about anything. It would be a disaster for Bitcoin. We have already seen how whales like Germany or mongoose can make the market fluctuate. And they don't have that much Bitcoins, or even tweets from personalities like Elon Musk. So Satoshi, with his billions of dollars in Bitcoin, it would be even worse, far too dangerous. And then for himself, it would be very dangerous too. A billionaire as powerful and influential as he is, that most people think is better off never being now. If he were to become public, many would quickly want to make him, you know, disappear again, if you know what I mean. By the way, that Peter Todd, in my opinion, will have to watch out for him from now on. It's a dangerous world out there. And even if he remained alive, most of the countries of the world that are in the process of bringing Bitcoin into mainstream finance now, they would also have every interest in rendering him powerless as quickly as possible by all legal or not that legal means at their disposal, right? We have seen in the past what can happen to people who want to change things, like Julian Assange or Snowden. Their lives were very quickly made less easy, weren't they? It would be the same, I think. So, in conclusion, Money Electric is a fascinating documentary. Of course, it doesn't offer us a solid truth about Satoshi's identity, but it's still a great documentary, because as Peter Todd says at the end, that kind of documentary can attract new people into the fascinating world of crypto. It offers an overview of the history, the actors, and the ideology behind Bitcoin. Even I told my friends and even my 2 kids to watch it. It's perfect for newcomers. But as for Satoshi, then again, we haven't really progressed. I prefer not to share my own hypothesis about who it could be, because it's ultimately good to remain in the dark. I really liked, Len Sassaman theory, because he's already dead, peace to his soul, but if it was him, that would be perfect, right? So yes, there you have it. Not knowing is very good, yeah. In the end, I would give this documentary a good 7 out of 10 because it's useful where it should be useful, like for mass adoption. and it fails where it should fail, like in revealing the identity of Satoshi. What about you? What do you think? Did you watch it? Do you think it's better that Satoshi's identity remains secret? Think about it. Sometimes mystery is more powerful than truth. Mystery, in fact, I think, just contributes to Bitcoin charm. It makes Bitcoin even more special, even more attractive, may I say. That's it. That's all for my review. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and more importantly, tell me in the comments what you think. Should we keep digging and trying to find the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto or not? Alright, I'll see you in the next video now. Bye bye.